the last of my Purge films. Some of you may be cheering like, oh, thank God, this is it, finally, woo, we got it to the end of the Purge movies. And other ones of you might be, oh man, that's it? That's all the Purge films? Probably not that many people out there like that, but hopefully there is. I've loved this whole series. I've been a big fan ever since I saw the first one. Well, that's not true. I've been a big fan ever since I've seen the second one, and then the third one, and then going back and watching the first Purge, I was still a big fan, and then re-watching the first one, and I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the whole series now. It just took me a while to warm up to the movies, so when the third movie came out, I raced out to go see it in the theaters. I was there day one. The Friday it was released, I was there, and I can say that it was right after work. I went there right at, and I get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work. And as soon as I left work, I went to go see the new Purge film. And I was so tired, and I was trying to keep awake. So I didn't fall asleep during the movie, but I was kind of, very drowsy trying to watch the film. And I didn't remember most of it because of that reason. So watching this now is kind of like watching it for the first time again. So I got to actually see the third one sort of for the first time, even though I've already seen it, if that makes any sense to you whatsoever. So now we get to the conclusion, or for now anyway, what was the last Purge. I don't know if they're going to make any more after this one. They haven't yet. They went back into, the first one. And then the TV series, I think, went back to before this one as well. So there's been nothing really after this one, because this is supposed to be, I guess, the end of the Purge, which is why it's called election year, because the point of the Purge is there's one day a year that for 12 hours, anyone can go out and murder anybody, anyone can go out and commit any crime they want to. For 12 straight hours, they can do whatever they want, and they won't get prosecuted, they won't be put in jail, nothing will happen to them, except for the higher up, the government people. They can't be touched. They are sort of exempt to the rule. They're not supposed to be able to kill any sort of government officials during the Purge, so they're supposed to be fine. So in this film, there is the senator who is running for president who wants to finally stop the Purge because she realizes how ridiculous it is and how stupid it is and how all these people are out murdering and killing everybody, and she wants to stop it. So, of course, they have these group of people from the NFFA, I believe that's what they're, NFFA? I think that's what they are called in this, who want to kill the senator because they don't want the Purge to stop because they're making a bunch of money on guns and bullets and, and all this stuff, and it is very financially good for them, and they don't want it to ever stop. So, if she gets in the office, obviously, they're going to be screwed. So what do? Is they go and hire some sort of neo-Nazis to go and try to kill the senator during Purge night, so she can't become elected. And the guy from the second one actually was in this movie, and that was really great to see. Finally, we have a character who has crossed over between the Purge films. The guy that was in the second one, who was sort of like the Punisher-like character, really great character, now is in this one as well, and he's her security guard. He is the senator's security guard. And it was great to see. I really think that is a very good choice. Now you have a connection between the movies. Now, because up until this point, every movie is sort of a standalone thing, and now you have the same character, someone you actually know from another film who's gone through all this. So it's cool, and I'm glad they finally did that. And like the other films, you also have other people in the movie. You have the store owner who owns this little tiny store, who knows during Purge night, his store is going to be destroyed usually. And these really ignorant people came into his store and they were trying to steal something from him, and he stopped them. So they're like, oh, well, we'll see you tonight. We're going to come back and we're going to purge you and purge your store and purge the world and purge everything. We're going to purge completely. So, and they do. And they're really creepy characters later on when they actually do come back. They're pretty strange, whacked out, weird characters. And that's what makes these movies so good, is because you have these people who, during the 12 hours of the Purge, will go insane and will kill anybody. So then you have to start thinking to yourself, well, what are they doing the rest of the year? I mean, once they're not doing this, do they just go back and work at Walmart, or what do? They become regular people again, back into society, and then during Purge night, they just come out and they let their monster out, and they kill everybody? And that is another interesting aspect of these films. It's like you sit there and watch that, and you're like, okay, well, I understand, you know, what the point of the film is, but if somebody goes and murders somebody, how can they go back to their job and, like, where's Bob? Anyone see Bob? Oh, no, I think Bob's not here anymore. And saying the person who killed Bob, no, I don't think Bob's here anymore. So this film, actually, I don't think was as good as the other three. It wasn't a bad film, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad film by any stretch of the imagination. It just wasn't, I don't think, up there with the other three films. The first Purge, the first Purge, and the second one. So the plot of this film, basically, is the guy from the first film goes and helps the senator, and of course, you know, they get into the senator's mansion, and then she goes off on a run, and then she's on the street, and he's trying to protect her, and then they meet the store owner people, and they had this other character, this woman who drove around in sort of like an ambulance, and she would drive around up and down the streets looking for people who were hurt during the Purge, and then bring them into her van, and then take them somewhere. So that was a really cool character. I like that idea that somebody was out there doing that during this this thing. So I really don't want to give away all the plot points in this film, but it does get pretty good towards the middle of the end of the film, and there are people in this film, and again, I can totally see this happening, is they consider the Purge to be like a religious holiday, an actual religion, and you got all these religious nuts out there, you know, who are celebrating the Purge as a religious day and all this stuff. If this was a real thing, absolutely. I could absolutely see people do that. I could absolutely see people going out and murdering other people and stealing what they wanted to and doing whatever they want, you know. And the thing is, like I said in my very first review here, maybe 20 years ago, if this movie came out, then you'd be like laughing about it. But the way the things are today, it's not as funny, and it's really a frightening thought that something like this could happen. And it's as wild, as outrageous, as ridiculous as it was, as the idea is. I don't think it's as crazy or ridiculous as wild idea anymore than I used to. So yeah, I don't think it ever happened. Don't get me wrong. I don't think, you know, tomorrow is going to be Purge Day or anything. But it's possible. I think something like this could happen. I'm not saying it's going to, but it's possible, I guess. And that's what makes these movies so good and so scary, is because it's a reality that will never probably come, but it's possible. Just like Planet of the Apes, you know, apes could at some point become intelligent and take over the world. Probability of that is pretty low, but I'm not going to throw that out either, saying that apes aren't going to take over the world, because it could happen, who knows? So I'm going to go ahead and give my review for this film, my rating, and for the last Purge, the election year Purge, I am going to give it a 4 out of 5. It's not really, I would say, the best of the Purge films. I don't think the action is there. The non-stop action and, you know, of the other ones that were out there, there's action in the film, but it's just not like a roller coaster ride. And there's still stuff in this movie that's really good. And like I said in The Purge 2, the stuff you see, like, that's happening down alleyways, or, you know, you walk out onto the street and there's a woman sitting there and guys on fire in front of her. Stuff like that is what really makes these movies super scary, super creepy, and very effective. So hopefully there will be more Purge movies on the way, because if there is, I will go see them, because I'm a huge fan of this. And if you have never seen any of these movies, give them a chance. Because if you're a horror fan or if you're an action fan, either one of those, I think you'll enjoy these films, because they have really interesting characters. Each one of these has a really interesting characters. Each one of these have really interesting stories. And they're all good. There isn't really any of them that are just, oh, well, that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen type of movie. They're all really entertaining. So, again, if you haven't watched them, give them a chance. So that's it, all you maniacs, and I want to thank all of you maniacs out there for hitting that subscribe button. We've gotten quite a few new subscribers, and I love all of you guys. I think you're just fantastic, and I love hearing from you. So if you hate The Purge, if you love The Purge, if you've never seen The Purge, leave some comments. I love reading all your comments, and I try to respond to everybody that I can. So that's it for The Purge quadrilogy. I don't know how many that is, but this is the Purge franchise. I called it a trilogy in some point of it's not really a trilogy. It's right at this point it's a franchise. TV show, 4 movies, franchise.